All right, all right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Ejima. Okay, it has been 4 weeks since you've seen our beautiful
Oh,
faces.
really?
Yes, 4 weeks since we went live. The last live was about my 4 year update living in Charlotte. Life has been life, and we're gonna stop giving that excuse because life is always gonna be life, right? But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Going live is not as simple as it seems. You want to come up and have like a relevant topic, and we just don't want to come and be talking about Charlotte and Houston over and over again and saying the same stuff, right? So it can be challenging, and we've talked about this before. So going live most likely won't be weekly, but I think realistically we could do like every other week
Yeah,
just
try
to
and get
kind of
into
set
the video
things.
or when something really relevant comes up, something that's like trending or something that we think you all would get value from. So as you guys are joining in, make sure you like this video, like, and let us know where you all are watching from. And I'm in Houston, and we have a tropical storm slash hurricane. Um, why is it saying? Is this a
You're saying
private
it's a
video?
private video. How is it
It is
private?
not private. No, no, no. Maybe it's on stream.
Let's see.
That's very weird. Let me check on my phone.
It says public on YouTube. I'm not sure where.
Yeah, stream. Maybe I think on StreamYard initially it was. Let me see. Public. Okay. I just put. Let me see. Let me do it again.
What are you doing again?
Type in and seeing if it. Yeah, that's so weird. It had a different setting on my phone versus. Okay, so now we can type. But yeah, I'm in Houston, and we'll be getting weather warnings since Sunday. I'm tired. I was gonna have a
Always,
live.
always
I was gonna
something
have a
in Houston.
live
We
about
could be talking
Houston.
about that today.
Houston is changing. Yeah, I'm just waiting for all this to pass and about my feelings being here over 2 years now about how the city's changing and the weather is definitely one of them. So they've been getting all these alerts and everyone's saying, "Oh, be safe, do this." Everyone's sending out information center point because they've been for Burrow they got ripped into, so they're all prepared and saying that they have this and that. But it's a tropical storm. Is it Florence,
Every
Florine?
day y'all have a storm. It's too
And then
much.
it's a tropical storm turning into possibly a hurricane. So it's really like I was trying to work out. It was raining, it's gloomy, but yeah. Hopefully this live cheers us up. Hi Mia, it's been a while. All right, so let's get into it. So this video, we have our subscribers are like almost equally 50-50. We have a lot of men that watch this channel, a lot of it's equally like 50-50 men and women. So this we always say it's hard doing these type of topics because people start taking things a little bit personal, but it's not a personal attack. We're bringing this up in light of the recent passing of a Ugandan runner, Rachel. I don't want to say her last name wrong. Cheptegei. um so sad. On September 1st, her allegedly ex former boyfriend lit her on fire and she passed like 4 days later. And I just got an alert today that in the process of him lighting her on fire, he burnt like 40% of his body and he passed earlier today. So it's just so sad. And just for some reason, like that story really got to me. And I don't know the lady. I didn't even watch the Paris Olympics to be honest. She was running in the Paris Olympics. But the reason why it really got to me because it followed the trend of like from how it's presented in media, of course, allegedly. I'm going to keep saying allegedly because we don't know everything, and with time, things will surface about women like being loyal or women dating men who are not necessarily where they are, and being okay with it, but at the end of the day, it ends up backfiring on them, right? And like this woman was 33-year woman, had two children, worked so
Were her
hard.
were her two kids with him? Do
I
you
don't
know?
know. They're not releasing a lot of personal information,
Yeah.
like they're keeping a lot of stuff because I've been researching, trust me, and I was trying to find that out. I'm not sure. But it's almost like the reason I feel like why this story touched me because she's like around my age, and it's almost like you can't really win sometimes it seems, especially being a black woman. Because if you people are even other women are even pushing back on her, like why would she be dating that type of guy? He's not on her level. Yep, yeah. Petra said, yep, he passed this morning east like 11:30 Eastern time, which is like whatever different time zone over there. But yeah, he passed as well. because, in the act of him burning her, he burned himself as well. So it's like the reason why I feel like this talk really got to me, because I feel like sometimes as women we can never win, because even despite her, passing, rest in peace, she's even getting pushed, her spirit, or she's getting pushed back about why would she even be with this type of guy. He's not on her level. She's an Olympian. She should have leveled up. And it's like, I just feel like it's not a fair, it's not, I don't feel like it's fair to say that, because I feel like from my personal experience, I know it's anecdotal and we understand. I think the media pushes one narrative when it comes to modern women, especially Black women. But in the real world, at least in my experiences, my friends' experiences, my cousins' experiences, things are not necessarily that way. But I feel like it's pushed that way to make us seem a certain type of way, like we just want these millionaires and we're not ready to build anybody. And we want these men who have all of this, and only how many percent of men have that, and only how many percent of people have that. But then also you see women who are okay with not being with these type of men, you see how they end up. And there's a reason why across the board, women usually want someone at their level or higher. That's just human nature. It's not even it's not even a race thing. But of course, when Black women want anything reasonable, we're always, I feel like people come down hard on us, like, oh, you shouldn't want that. You should just manage what you have. It's not fair. Blah blah blah. So to start off this show, I'm going to go into the concept of dating down. And if you see in the title, I have it in what is that? It's not parentheses. It's the word
Quotations.
that, yeah, quotation marks, because of course it is, relative, and it's not like I'm saying that's what dating down is, or it has a negative connotation. But I think that people understand that dating down is not just about money. It's about educational level. It's about emotional intelligence. It could be about so many other things in terms of you not feeling like you're where your partner is. But of course, when people hear dating down, they think of, oh, dating someone that makes less money than you. That's not always the case. There's more to a person than how much they're making, right? So, according to Business Insider, college educated Black women are 53% less likely to marry a well educated men than their white counterparts. And like I mentioned earlier, it's natural to want to date someone at your level, whether it's education wise, financial wise, emotional, spiritual, so many areas. It's natural to be with someone that, is on your level. Um, the article went into some reasons why there's less Black men, I guess college educated Black men for Black women to choose from. A lot of it went to higher mortality rates in the Black community, particularly to Black men due to violence, health, all those reasons. But like I mentioned, I do believe a lot of Black women are okay with dating down. Like, I don't think that they're as against it as people think. And in the real world, they do it. They do it very, very often. But of course, that doesn't make the shade room. It doesn't make all these outlets. It doesn't go viral on Instagram. It doesn't go viral on TikTok. What goes viral is when one woman says that she wants a man who is 6'6", makes 200K, and doesn't have kids. Then it's like, oh my gosh, you want too much. How could you want that? You're crazy. You're never gonna find that, right? But I think the reason why some women are so against it is not that because they couldn't do it, is because they've done it in the past and they've seen the results. My personal opinion, I'm not bringing up statistics. I'm bringing up my personal opinion, what I've seen anecdotally, what I've seen people around me. I think that when women, particularly Black women, tend to date down, I think it builds a lot of resentment in their partners. And I'm bringing this up because we mentioned excuse me, like we mentioned the Ugandan runner that passed as a result of being lit on fire by her former boyfriend. Like you said, we don't know everything yet, but there is some story about him fighting over her land. Like, he was fighting for her land, some property she bought a minute ago. Like, basically, these people started together, right? They were in their villages or wherever, their towns. They grew up together. But as a clip I'll show later on shows that a lot of times we see the women rising up at a rate that's quicker than the men, right? And there's, like I mentioned earlier, people that are just jumping in. There's reasons for that. It's not necessarily because they don't want better. It's not necessarily because they're lazy or anything. There's systemic reasons why some women find it easier to move up the ladder than their men, especially like in the Black community. So these women still want to hold on to these relationships. They're still dating these people because those are their people. They grew up together. They're not like, oh, just because I'm doing better now, I don't want to be with you. But my personal opinion, I do think that most men are not going to be comfortable with that dynamic. They're just not. No matter how much they say, oh, it doesn't matter, or as much as you may say it doesn't matter, well, I'll buy this, I'm okay, paying more, I'm okay doing this, I'm okay being the provider. I personally think that most men, because of the natural order of things and just the way society is set up, even biology is a part of it, I don't think most of them will be okay with it. So as a result, I do think that it can make some men feel very uncomfortable. And of course, there are the women who may throw it in their face or make them feel inferior, but I don't think that's the majority, honestly. I think that women in those situations usually know and are pretty mindful to try and not make their partner feel bad. And when women are in love or they like someone, they're not gonna be like, on average, they're not gonna be moving like that. Like I feel like they really try and, like make them feel comfortable, but it just never really works. And as a result, they kind of punish them for helping them. They kind of punish them for making them not for being at a higher level than them. So that's why I personally feel like a lot of women who are very anti, building, or not necessarily building, but like building from like the ground up, or being with a guy who is like not on their level, whether it's education wise, financially wise, or whatever. I think that's the reason why they don't want it, because they've experienced it before. And I can just imagine how uncomfortable of a situation that tends to be. So, Nana, what's your feeling about dating down? Is this something that you would do?
Let me answer. I don't know. Let me see Mia's question. Would y'all date a man that had a GED or high school diploma, or does he have to have a degree? Okay, Mia, this is a great segue. Basically, what Ngozi's asking, great segue. So I will never forget one of my good friends. She's Chinese American, second gen. So her parents are like me and Ngozi, right? And she would always say that she would never date a guy who didn't go to college. I went to nursing school with her. And I never really understood it, because I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, just because you go to college doesn't make you smart, right? There's people that go to college and they have flimsy degrees they're not even using, right? So why would I? But then the older I get,
You
she
understand
comes
what
in
you're
my
saying?
mind. She comes in my mind more and more for her saying that, right? To be fair, this is why I don't like going live, because I'm just too honest. If he has money, I can surpass it, right? If he has money and he just has high school or GED, I think I can get over it. If he's doing very financial, like he has a business, because I don't equate money to
Success.
degree success
Mhm.
necessarily. Yeah, there is usually a correlation, but not always, right? Because we know nowadays a lot of people are going to college and getting degrees they can't do anything with, and
Right.
with a lot of student loan debt. I think if he's doing well, I'll be more open to it. The only, and I've had an experience like this. Again, I don't want to talk too much. Only reason why I would prefer him to at least just have a bachelor's degree, right? He don't have to have a master's, a PhD. He don't have to have like I'm not looking for a doctor like some women, right? I'm not looking for a guy who's like so educated, right? But I would really want him to at least have gone to college, because I do really believe, especially for men of color, they just don't get the same adequate exposure. And I feel like a college experience is what gives a man of color a good worldview for the most part. Like, I just think that that's the easiest way for him to get exposed, the easiest way for him to meet people from different places, the easiest way for him to just surround himself with like-minded people is by attending university. That's my honest opinion. But am I saying that it's a must? If he's doing well, no, it's not a must, but I definitely would prefer it. I'm not gonna lie.
So it's not a like, oh no, like I
No,
wouldn't.
no, no. It's not like I wouldn't, but I definitely would prefer it to my least just bachelor's degree. I'm very reasonable. Like, you don't have to have two doctorates, at least a bachelor's degree. I really, really would prefer it. But
No,
yeah,
that makes sense. You brought up college. I'm thinking I had it in my notes because there's always this pushback about women dating down, especially Black women. I think back to even being in college, because you mentioned being in college, having that experience, that worldview. There were so many Black women in college who were in school, doing well, getting that exposure, but were still dating or messing with the guy back home who
hmm
wasn't honest. Let's be real. Let's have a transparent conversation. Who wasn't really doing much? Who was in the streets? Wasn't even like in community college or tech. And they were going back to see them. They were being loyal to them. So I feel like it just like makes me want to like scream when this narrative is always pushed that like black women don't date down, or black women want these men to have all of that. Do you know what black women do compared to other races? How much we a lot of times to our own detriment, we do it. We do it a lot. Those women grew up in urban areas. They grew up in some of those neighborhoods, and like those men were their fellow men. Those are the guys they grew up with. Those are the guys they dated in high school, and they continued into those relationships. But I also did notice a trend that a lot of times, like after freshman year, maybe sophomore year, the relationship would break. Like they would kind of like get away from it. If they did, you would see like after like freshman year, especially, it's almost like is this going to go forward or just is not, because like Nana mentioned, it's not about, people keep talking about money or college. You can make the same amount of money going to college. Now, I agree, especially in this economy, you could definitely make the same amount of money as the average college degree earner is getting without going to college. But it's more about money. It's about the exposure. It's about the experiences. It's about meeting in different places, learning about different parts of the world, going to classrooms with different types of people, seeing people in different environments. It's just a very, very different experience. So someone now that has gone to college a few years and you're relating with someone who hasn't, it's not to say that you're better than them, but there's a certain area now where you guys aren't really relatable anymore because you have a different experience, especially at that young age. Let's see Mia's question. Make sure y'all liking this video. Do y'all believe a man with a degree will have stability long term versus a man that doesn't have a degree to fall back on, economy wise? I think it depends. Because like we said, Nana mentioned, she said a lot of degrees people get, they're not even using them, to be honest. Like there's probably about like 8 degrees that are worth going to college for being honest. Like literally.
Right, 8 bachelor's degree that can hold you down and you never have to go to school again.
You have like 8 bachelor degrees that are worth going to college for, if we're being honest. But like we said, it's not all about the money. It's about the experience. So I definitely think that economically, someone could be doing very well without going to college. But like we said, bringing it back to it's not about what is really sometimes happening, it's how that person feels. So right now, when you want to say something, or let's say, then I have brought up this comment before about someone wanting to put their children in private school versus public school. Maybe because you went to school, you have a master's, or you have a terminal degree, you may see the value in that. But someone who didn't go to college may feel as if you're just trying to be uppity and you're just trying to be extra and waste the money. Even if they have it, they may not understand that value, because to them it's like, I'm okay and I didn't even go to college. So why do we need to put a small child in some Montessori or put them in some private school that's $20K a year? You know what we could be doing with $20K a year in this economy? Like, come on now. So I do think that we try and touch on these topics. We try and be too politically correct and we don't want to be offensive, but there's a difference. There's a difference when you hit a certain level. You forget about even romantic relationships, even friendships. There's people who once you hit a certain level, friendship-wise, you can't relate with them anymore. It's not to say that they're a bad person, but it's like you may struggle with like
because of jealousy too, even with women, right? So like for example, right? Like I don't want to talk too much, but like
talk. We on live 1 month. Talk.
I just hear a lot of stories about women claiming that like when they level up, like women are jealous. And I'm not someone that goes around with imaginary haters. Like I don't feel like people are hating on me. I really, really don't think. Like I think some people put it in their head that they have imaginary haters, right? But at the same time, I also understand why sometimes when people are in a certain tax bracket, they also make friends in that tax bracket, right? So if you make 300K and you're a woman, and you go into your friend who's a teacher, maybe like an elementary school teacher in North Carolina where they don't pay well, maybe she makes like 50K. And every time you want to say, let's go to Roof Chris, let's go here on the weekends. Oh, I want to travel here for my birthday. Like, does it really, like that person is not gonna be able to keep up with your lifestyle for the most part, right? It doesn't mean that y'all may not be able to relate. It doesn't mean that y'all might not have things in common, but at the same time, when it comes to the money, you may, and it's not, this is a generalization because there's people that can make a lot of money and still be very calm and chill, but usually that's not how it goes, especially with Black women. Let's just be honest.
You think so?
No, not with Black women spend a lot.
Like I said, the same way we talk about when people talk about dating now, is it that they're not chill, or is it the perception because the other person has insecurities that they're doing too much? Right? I think it's a little bit of both. Right? I think it'll be a little bit of both, because there's something that's, if someone's making 300K and they say something to someone else is making 300K, they may not take it the way that someone making 50K will. That's true. Like, oh, for example, someone could say, oh, we're going on this vacation and I saw a ticket, I was $700 to Spain. I'm like, 700? What airline? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, is it economy? Oh, yeah. I don't fly economy. To someone that going on a vacation is even a big deal, and I come in, I'm tapping into that 300K. I tap into
This is the year. This is the year.
But I'm saying right now, let's say I make that response like, oh, I don't fly economy. How is that person now? It's not necessarily me. I don't feel like
You're stating a fact. You're stating
the
a fact.
I don't fly economy. I can afford to fly business. My comfort is important. I work hard. I don't fly economy. But for someone who is making 50K or someone who just doesn't travel that much, if they hear that, what are they going to think? So I think I get what you're saying. Some people be doing too much, but it's also people projecting their insecurities onto other people. It's both.
That's true.
It's both. Trust me, it's both. Because when you, and that's what there's certain, like you said, even in the friendship parties, we keep talking about, we can't even, if you say even talk about the friendship part, it's not everything in life not about man or woman. It's like even the friendship part, I feel like it even affects people even more. Because like you said, there's certain things that if you make at a certain tax bracket, you're doing certain things, your friends may, or people that you used to be friends with, or people that you're trying to hold on to friendships, y'all may not be able to relate with certain things anymore on certain things. I answer OPME's question. OPME, did you move to Charlotte yet? I think you the one saying to move to Charlotte. And I told you, yeah, move. There's a lot of women. Did you move to Charlotte yet?
He said, "Can you date a guy with a strong accent?" OPM, you want to join the live so we can hear the accent? What's the definition of strong? We could put the link. We could talk. I mean, I don't. Accent is not just whatever. Mia said, all y'all friends have degrees, or do you prefer to have friends with degrees, or it doesn't matter?" Basically, what we talked about. We just said that this debate is happening. It might not be a good time to stream. The debate's starting at 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, now it's pre-debate. Trust me, we won't be done. We'll be done by then. I considered that, but the real debate starting at 8 Eastern. Oh, 9 is 9 Eastern or 8?
9 Eastern Standard. So we'll be done by 9. We just want to come on briefly because we haven't been on live for a while. It's been way too long. We miss y'all. And we're like, let's just get on live and talk about something that's happened recently, with dating. I don't really be liking to talk about dating, but it seems like that's what everyone wants to talk about these days. But I don't want to bore y'all with my life in Charlotte because I don't know how entertaining that would get. But
all right, let me wrap things up. No, I want to just play a clip real quick. Y'all know the dating coach Anwar. He's hilarious. But there's a clip I saw. Hi, Ernest. How are you? It's been a while. How are you? How do you feel about this topic? Weigh in. We need a male's perspective. How do you feel? I don't know if you just joined in or you were listening earlier, but we're talking about the whole concept of dating down, particularly when it comes to Black women. Dating down being, it could be education wise, it could be finances, it could be emotional intelligence, it could just be in lifestyle. And the reason why some women are very apprehensive about it. We talked about the Ugandan runner who was at the Paris Olympics who unfortunately passed last week as a result of her former boyfriend lighting her on fire, and he passed away today as a result of burns from doing that to her. He also passed. So we talked about some of the reasons why some women are. I personally believe a lot of women are okay with dating down, and I think the realities of dating, a lot of women have accepted that, especially if they want to be with, especially when it comes to Black women, if they want to be with another Black man. But I feel like sometimes it's not about how the women feel; it's about how the men feel. Because you could be okay with it, and you could be all right with like doing more, but if your partner is insecure about it or your partner is not comfortable in that being in that position, I feel like it can never really work. And from speculation, from what this happened to this Ugandan runner, it seems as if that was part of the situation, like jealousy, envy, all that stuff.
I guess that's the part that kind of bothers me because she's no longer with us, so she can't come and tell her part of the story, right? And now he's no longer with us, and he can't come and say his part of the story. So are we just assuming that because she's like a celebrity basically and he's a regular guy that he's jealous? Or
the father is talking a lot. Rebecca's father is talking a lot, and he knows the tea. So he's the one talking about his daughter and how he was trying to drag land with his daughter. So his daughter was telling him stuff. So he's only the real one that really has like in it. You say he's not really in it, like he's just going off of what his daughter has told him. But he's the one that knows, at least has the most information from everybody. And it just seems, of course, it's easy to paint that picture. I get what you're saying, but it seems like what can a woman do that'll make you light her on? Like, come on now, like what action? What you can? There's nothing that's justifiable. That like you have to be like sick to go that far. Like it's very sick. Like a normal person can't do that. Like I'm sorry. Like there's a high level of emotion that you have to have. Like you have to be at a different place to even consider that, to even pull through with that. That's crazy. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Unfortunately, both of them, at least, no, unfortunate for one, but both of them are no longer here, so no one will ever really know like the real story. But yeah, let me share my screen real quick before we try to take any call, and then you can go through the questions. Let me work on sharing this.
Mia said, "Why is it that more African men have degrees versus African American men? Is that a stat? Like, is that? Could we confirm that, or I mean, I'm pretty sure it's true, but I'm saying, is that? I think it's just because education is valued more in other countries. Period, regardless
Yeah,
of regardless of
race.
sex." Regardless of
So,
sex, regardless of race, I just think there are certain other countries that value education more. And yeah, America, we value education here, but in America, you also can get away with not going to school, right? Especially back in the day when life wasn't so expensive. You can get away with not going to school and no one's going to really bother you, or maybe you're able to live a decent life. There's other, like, you could work at the post office, you could, you could be a truck driver, you can do other things and make a decent living and not go to school. But other parts of the world are not necessarily like that. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like, to get a reasonable job you have to go to school.
right, America's a capitalist society, and it's honestly one of the best countries in the world. And you hear about all those stories about like being like one of the places where you could be like nothing and become a someone. And a lot of those stories don't necessarily include like going to school. Like you can just open a business. You could just there's so many ways. Like yeah, so I get it. There's so many ways, and there's also come down to but there's a lot of other factors too that influence that, right? Especially in urban areas, the school systems. It's complex. But yeah, I just want to share like a minute of this video real quick. Let me share this. We talk about the whole dating down thing. So what is a possible solution, right? We talk like what are we to do? People, we can't win. We're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. What are one of the possible solutions? Let's listen to this.
Saw when you originally did this video, encouraging Black women to essentially date outside their race. The idea that
date everybody. There are great Black men too.
There were a lot of stitches where Black women were kind of like, well, culturally, I have a hard time with. Do I desire? Am I attracted to partnering with someone who's not Black?
I think that Black women have been manipulated and gaslit into thinking that they're some sort of traitors because they want the best for themselves. That is not language that is given to Black men. And so I don't really subscribe to that. Again, I'm for all Black women to win at the end of the day. And this is about just the best partner, whether it's Black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian, as Lil Kim once said, right? And so, I mean, at the end of the day, this is why a lot of Black men don't really like me. Because, no, they don't. I get a lot of hate DMs and emails and things like that all the time, because what's happening, and it's a conversation that a lot of us don't want to have, is that there is an evolution happening and Black women are evolving past Black men, unfortunately. It's sad. I'm not basking in this, but I want to keep it 100% real. And it's actually going to be necessary if you want to have that generational wealth to be able to live the life that you want to live at the end of the day. Again, I'm not saying date outside of your race. Yeah. I'm saying date everyone. Everybody. There are social issues that.
All right. So how do y'all feel about that? Because we're not getting into that area. Because I'm saying what are some of the solutions? That's a topic for another day. But I really played that clip because I liked the part when he spoke to the evolution part. And I think that a lot of times when we bring up salaries or degrees, you go on statistics and they'll say, well, the average Black man is still making more than an average Black woman. Yes, that's true. By a couple $1,000s, according to blackdemographics.com. So I feel like there's always like this pushback on that narrative. Like, no, like that's not true. There's so many. I lost. Can you still hear me? My signal.
Yeah, okay, you good.
Okay. There's so many, Black men are still doing well. They'll push it and say, the women don't want them. They're fighting over the top 10%. They're the reason why. But I do think there's value in what Anwar is saying. And he said a lot of Black men don't like him. He gets the emails, he gets the DMs. It's not about necessarily, I guess, going to the other side or dating outside your race, because I'm very careful about pushing this narrative like that.
Men are men.
Men are men. Thank you. Like I'm really, I'm very careful. I feel like sometimes, especially when it comes to Black women, like there's like this fantasy around like being with a non-Black man. Same way it is for Black men to an extent, but I think for Black women, because it's not done as often. So like there's almost like this fantasy image like, oh my God, I just want to be happy. Let me just go date the white man. Let me just go date this type of man. He's gonna treat me so good. And I've seen with my own eyes, like I have friends, people going through stuff. Men are men. Men are men. So I'm not saying it in that aspect, but I'm just saying about the evolution part, right? About Black women evolving. And like I said, it's not always about just money. Because when you go to Black demographics, you go to these sites, you will see that Black men are still earning more on average than Black women. But I still think, me personally, those stats are a bit skewed because Black men still make more than Black women on average. And there's a lot of higher earning jobs like athletes and stuff like that are usually Black men. So I still feel like those numbers are a bit off. That's me personally. I feel
I think the average working Black woman makes more than the average working Black
I personally think that. Like I may be biased based on how I grew up and what I've seen and the women in my family. I think that those numbers are a bit misleading because we learn about the mean, the mode. I need to see the range of those numbers and compare the set. But even if, let's say, we'll go with that, I'm not here to fight numbers, that Black men are making more on average than Black women. It's not about just money. Like we said, it's the education, it's the emotional intelligence, there's all these other factors. The mindset, right? You think about women, especially Black women, are such we're such like when it comes to like self-help and all this stuff, we're consumers. Like we're quick to be like, oh, let's join this, let's try and learn, let's try and fix ourselves, let's try and heal. And of course, I think it's the nature of women, but are Black men doing it at that same rate? Right? So I think that it's not about, like I keep bringing it back, it's not about just money. Because you and someone can be making the same amount of money, but your lifestyle is very different. The way you're thinking is very different. The way you live life is very different. They want to go and get drunk. You want to go and do like Pilates. You know what I mean? Like your interests are different. So it's not just about money. It's more about lifestyle. And I think that if we're being honest with ourselves, like I said, it's anecdotal. It may be my experiences of what I've seen. I see women trying to really do better, Black women in particularly. And there's a lot of almost like pushback when we're trying to do better. And then if we're just limiting it to our own fellow men, are the men there is the point I'm making. Are we just making it up when we're saying, oh no, it's not as easy, or, we're having our issues, or we don't want to date down. Like we're not making this up. It's a thing. Like we're not just saying this just to try and like put, Black men down, because that doesn't get us, any of us, anywhere. But I think that we have to be honest about what's really happening, like in the day to day. Like we all went to college. In my article talked about how for white women, they go to college trying to leave as a miss, and a lot of Black women don't have that experience. And like I remember when I used to follow some of that red pill content, or watch some of those people, they will always push shit like on Black women that they don't want to get married in college. That's why they leave college married. How many of my friends were dating men that would begging them to even just be in a relationship, and these men were playing them like they didn't have any sense. Former friends, I don't think it's fair to make it seem as if Black women desire marriage or relationships any less than other women. It doesn't come down to what we want. Also, what do our men want? If the Filipino women are getting married, and because they're Filipino, men value marriage, The Chinese men are getting women are getting married because the Chinese men are valuing marriage. But if our men don't value marriage, it doesn't matter what we want if we're dating them. So I feel like it's too convenient to blame it like, oh, these women are city girls or they're not marriage material.
Some of them are, and that's
Some of them
fair.
are. I'm not arguing that.
18, 19, 20, it's fair to still be out there enjoying life.
Right. But I don't think it's at any higher rate than any other ethnicity of women. I think that's just a part of being younger. Like I don't subscribe to that. I think that it's almost like we just can never win. It's like you guys are not marriage minded. You guys don't go to college looking for husbands. Are men looking for black men going to college looking to get married? They're 40 years old, still saying they're not ready to get married. Are you serious? We think they're ready to get married at 21, 22. Let's be honest. Let's be real. They're not going to college. Black men are not going to college looking for wives. Let's be honest. Let's have an honest
white men
conversation.
in 2024, I don't think are either.
Exactly. On average, they're not. They're not.
Okay, so we could wrap it up. Anyone want to join? You could join the link real quick. If you have anything to say about this topic, I don't really know. Because what's your question about the topic? What are the dangers of dating down? If you have you dated down? Does anyone have an experience of dating down? Are you married?
What's the solution? Is it like Anwar? Is part of it dating after race? Part of it is dating.
That's part of it, but I don't think that's a full solution.
Right. I don't think it's like that's because that's also an issue. Do people out of your race want to date you? It's like I do believe that a lot of Black women limit themselves in terms of they're not as open-minded for sure as like our fellow men, for sure. Like I'm not arguing that, but I don't believe that if a bunch of Black women had other men who weren't Black pursuing them who were good, they're just gonna not talk to them. Like I think it's both. Like they're also not being approached by those men. Those men may also not desire them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's too convenient just to make it seem as if like the average Black woman is anyone's spec. Like it's not that simple. Like you also gotta, you know what I mean? Like you gotta like me too. Like I'm not gonna just.
Outside of the Spanish guys who would like talk to me, like the construction workers, the one that like mommy. Like besides them, I've never really had like a non-Black guy really like make a pass at me or say anything to me or ask me for my number. I've never. Maybe that's part of my fault. But look at me as questions. So we're gonna wrap it up with. How long will y'all wait to find a man within y'all culture that y'all want until y'all decide to go outside y'all culture? Okay, when you say y'all culture, do you mean like being Nigerian? Because I don't feel like.
Stop it! Stop! Stop it right now. Don't come on this live and be capping for people. Don't come on here and be talking nonsense. You're not open-minded. So don't act like
saying I'm open-minded, but when she say my culture, do you mean like because I don't okay, I'm not the most open-minded, but I'm also not as close-minded as many Nigerian girls I know.
So
let's put it that way.
Girls are close-minded?
Like most of them want to be with a Nigerian guy specific to the tribe, specific to like their like specific, like I'm not that. And I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing necessarily. If you can get it, go for it, right? Most people naturally desire to be with someone of their same culture. That's natural, right? But I don't even feel like I'm that extreme. So I'm not saying I'm so open-minded that I want a white husband. I didn't say that. But I also wouldn't say that. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there and lie to y'all. Like that's not what that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that I'm so close-minded. Like I only want a guy from my culture. That's not true. That's not true. Like yeah, if I surround myself with a specific group of people, it's very natural that those are the people I'm going to end up dealing with, right? That's just if I go to African parties and if I go to Nigerian parties, Nigerian church, obviously I'm not going to meet Asian people. Like that's natural. Those are the people I'm going to meet, right? So also as a person, you also have to change your environment or be more open in general if you want to meet different type of people.
For sure. And funny you mentioned that because let me tell you, we want to make it a little spicy. Let me tell you a quick funny story because I had met someone this weekend. It's not like that, whatever. But it was funny because the guy said he's been in Houston for 19 years, right? And he's never been to like an African like club. And he was telling about his experience being in an African club, right? He went to one of the popular ones on Saturday. He was like, oh my gosh, like the music, I don't know what they were saying, but the beat was electric, but they was too close to each other. Like I told the guy, you got to get out our section. They don't respect personal space. So I was on the phone
he's African American.
Yeah, so I was on the phone Sunday scream. Like I thought of my car. I was like literally like I kept like my eyes kept going off the road. I was in it was so funny to me. But it made me think about how like sometimes we get so stuck like in our own silos, right? And like you could be in a place and it's like, and I'm bringing this up because you mentioned a part about like Nigerian women. I think that kind of goes sometimes too with like African American men. From my experience, I feel like Nigerian men and African American women, like they mix more because I feel like they're more willing to go to like different environments. Let me explain to you. My guy friends, they'll go to American spots. They will go to mixed spots. They go to Nigerian spots. Thank you. The average Nigerian girl just wants to go to Nigerian stuff, right? And a lot of American guys, from my experience, they want to go like to their American stuff. Like they may not necessarily feel comfortable hearing all that Afro beats and all that music. But when I go to Nigerian clubs, confirm half those girls in there they're not Nigerian.
They know what they're looking for.
They're not even African. They in there looking for their Simon. Like they're not playing. Like they're not even African, but they be there. They be knowing all the songs. I remember I met this American girl last summer. She's like, yeah, I was at the Davido concert. I'm like, oh, I didn't even go to Davido concert. Like you going to the Davido concert?
You better take notes. That's why they taking you in.
Take notes. They be out, and I feel like that's what also too what opens their options. Because they are more like they put themselves in those environments.
Increase your exposure.
Right.
You increase your exposure by putting yourself around different type of people.
Yeah, and the way the American guy was talking to me is I'm like, so you've been in Houston for 19 years, you've never been to an African club? That's so weird to me because you're blind. You know what I mean? Like, how can you not go? He's like, nah, like I never been.
Weird. Why is it weird? If he doesn't listen to Afro beats, why would he be going?
Right. He was saying, I don't understand. Like they're speaking English. Oh, for real? I'm like, like, come on, they play, but like you know the accent and everything. Like he was like, I didn't know what they were saying. I didn't know what them songs were saying, but them beats was fire. So funny. Miss everyone.
Coco, but welcome. I don't think I've seen you before. I've seen more.
Go to her up. You skipped her comment.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this one first. I've seen more Nigerian baby daddies in this generation than ever. My cousin says that sometimes. The solution is to stop having children, hold out on children and require marriage. Most Black men want families, and it's too easy for them to have children while giving nothing. Look at Cam. Mia said, my experience, African men have way better hospitality versus African. Yeah, that's how they get you with the section. Come to my section. Oh, you want to sit down? Oh, you want to drink? Oh, you want food? Oh, okay. That's what the girls were like. Ah. Like it's true. The hospitality that gets a lot of girls because they're not used to being pampered. You know, they're not used to. You know, us growing up in a culture, we do take some things for granted. You get what I'm saying? Because it's the norm for us. Like even me as a woman, if I'm hosting an event and you're gonna come to my event, the hospitality is just gonna be there. And mind you, I don't even like hosting really. I wouldn't even call myself a great host because it like. Sometimes I find it very stressful to host people, but it's just a part of the culture. Like if someone comes to your house, you can't just offer them water. If someone comes to your environment, you're trained, you're raised to be hospitable. You're trained.
That's why they be saying Nigerian would be complaining about us that we spoiled because we used to.
I'm still very appreciative. So I don't know, I don't know if my man watching right now, but let me see. What's this? Coco Butt said, that's true. It's because the Africans got money. That's why they're going to clubs.
Or got the perception that they got money.
Whatever it is. All I know right now, if there was a big trend going around that like, let's say they say tomorrow, Irish men love Black women. Guess what? You're going to see in the next 2 weeks,
Irish pub.
You're going to start seeing Black women going to Irish pubs. Yeah. And you will be shocked. Like, I'm not even trying to joke. I'm not trying to be funny. If they went around and there was a rumor that went around and said, oh, most Irish men want to be with a Black woman, you're going to start seeing us popping up at Irish pubs to be in the environment of the men who are
rich men golf and women are going to golf courses. Rich men go here. And then women
cigar bars full of women. Full of women. Like, come on, like it's strategy to an extent. And it may be annoying, and you don't want to. I wouldn't do stuff I don't care about for strategy. Like I'm not going to cigar bars, so I'm going to choke there and pass out, right? So I'm not going to go there to be strategic. But women are being strategy. Petra said, "Yo, Ngozi, LMAO, what kind of guy did you meet?"
Yeah, I got a tea. I forgot. It's been a long. It's like literally. I can't believe I didn't even tell y'all. It was hilarious. Like hilarious.
Justina said, I think you guys have to distinguish what you mean by Nigerian because the average Nigerian American woman I know goes to American places just as much as the Nigerian American man.
Absolutely not. Maybe that, like I said, your experience anecdotal. I'm in Houston, and when I go to American places, I can tell you, I can count the number of Nigerian girls on one hand that are there. And people could say, "Oh, maybe you may not know they're Nigerian." Yes, I get it, but like I feel like
people may not know that you're Nigerian.
Same way, yeah, people may not know. I'm like, I get it, but like I have an idea. Like I know my peoples. Like I'm telling you, when I go to the even my guy friends confirm 90% of girls they're not Nigerian.
Okay, Justin, I agree with you to an extent, but I would only argue and say that in general, I just feel like
a restaurant. We're talking about a restaurant.
No. I just think in general, men are more open-minded. Period. When it comes to like dating and stuff than the average woman. So I think it doesn't even matter the location. Just in general, they're more open-minded. They don't have in their head they have to be with a specific type of person for the most part. But if you were to say like in a city like Charlotte, right? Would I say the average Nigerian American goes out the same way as the average Nigerian American girl, Nigerian American guy? It's possible, but like you said, we just wouldn't necessarily know, right? Like no one has a sign on their forehead.
The outside, or we from Saturday to Monday.
Especially in a city like Charlotte, that's very American. I think it's very possible that's 50-50 even.
I personally would feel like they would not, and it's not to say they've never gone. That's different than me saying like I'm not saying they've never gone there. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is that they may not feel comfortable, or they may not care or go at the same cadence as men, because like I said, they're going there trying to get chosen by them, and they don't really like the environment. They don't really like the scene. Like it's not really their thing. Like they just may not be comfortable in it.
The argument I can give you is that my guy friends who are like real Nigerians born and raised in Nigeria, now they go to regular stuff like American stuff, even like white stuff. I don't think that like maybe a girl that's like them would probably move the way they move. I think like a girl from Nigeria will probably just want to go to African stuff, right? Like be around Nigerians. But they move like very like wow, like they'll go anywhere. They're like they're more open-minded. So maybe I get that.
Their friends, yeah.
Right. And also I think part of it is that they like the attention. Right, like they're going out to also they get attention. Like people in Nigeria now is cool. If I meet a guy that's Nigerian, I'm not getting any special treatment. I'm not getting any special attention. I'm not getting any like what is the advantage for me? No one's thinking I'm rich. No one's thinking that
advantages, but just different types of advantages. Yeah.
I don't think so. Ooh, we got a lot of comments. Aisha, hey Aisha, it's been a long time. Yes, oh my God, you're so right. That's what happens to me every time by them free food, free drinks. Yeah, Mia, come to me. I'll give you that too. It's not just them. If I pull up to Nigerian party, better be some jollof rice there. You know it. Aisha said, I feel like in 2024, the African men thing is dying down. They caught on.
Things that is not all what is it? It's not all everything that glitters is not gold.
That's why these African men are the true villains. Those girls don't know these men are pepper. Ladies be warned. Y'all hate it
down because let me not
y'all don't hate on my men. Don't talk about my men, okay? They get on my nerve, but y'all not gonna hate on my men, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Aisha said a lot of them have the same mindset as Black American men. Also, African men to me are becoming very aggressive, and I don't fancy it. I hear that a lot. I've actually heard that a lot from a lot of people, and it's actually disheartening. But I've really been hearing that a lot, and it's kind of troubles me because I'm wondering, am I just used to some bad behavior? Like, am I just used to some stuff? Am I just used to some stuff?
But when you talk to your American friends, they'll be like, "That's controlling," or "That's that's too much." But it's like, huh? Is it really? Because you're raised like that's like it's almost like it's you've normalized a lot of stuff, and like almost like are we nitpicking too much on
Right, fact, Coco, but you're right. We do need to exclude the Americanized Nigerian men. They want 50-50 no hospitality, right? So like I'm talking about my guy friends, they're like real Nigerians, like so that's a different. They're strict, like they're gonna do all of that extraness. Oh, do you need somewhere to sit? Oh, let me stand up. Let me stand up. Are you good? Oh, I'm like, the person like, oh my God, he stood up
You want company guys? You want?
he stood up for me. He stood up
You
know what I
don't know.
mean?
You'll pay for that standing up one way or the
No,
other.
it could just be just like stopping Ngozi. It could really just be like he's just a nice gesture, but it's not. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, because
we always like to deviate. We always end up with men because of Mia's questions. The thing when it comes to our Nigerian men is that they have raised like the bar. I feel like in terms of like what women should like requires like the bare minimum. Like to me, like I said, if you're used to those things, it don't move you because that's my standard.
I don't know. Maybe because I live in Charlotte. Continue.
It don't move it. I'm telling you. I've told my cousins about this before. I went to this popular spot in Houston before, and I was there on Saturday. That's where I met the American guy. And I remember I walked in and went to the bar, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Oh my God, I wish I was still gonna be here longer. I don't have time to give you a proper date. What's your number?" So I was like, I didn't really understand. So I'm like, let me just give you my number. And he zelled me $200.
But
he's like, okay,
stop
right now. Don't give me that example. I'm giving you that example.
Stop it. We're not gonna add this example because you're living in Houston. So I'm letting you know that that's not the norm. Houston and Atlanta are not real places. You cannot use them.
Let me give you Nnena, but they're the places that have a high population of Nigerian men. So yes, they're not real places. I'm not going to use Charlotte as an example. They have 7 Nigerian men. So you can't use Charlotte as an example because they don't have Nigerian men. Like, come on now. But I'm telling you, I'm giving this example. I think it's still relevant because it just goes to how, or the perception of how like Nigerian guys move. So I feel like if you're a woman who's not used to certain things, a guy doing certain that type of stuff, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like wow, like oh, but it's like okay, like, I got that, I still never text you. Like I don't care. I got my money and I went home. You know what I mean? Like
Wait, what happened? He gave you money for giving the number?
No, he was leaving with his friends. I don't even know how he saw me. So he came with me at the bar. He's a Nigerian guy. So I was like, okay, then let me get your number. I really wanted sit down, but we don't have time. We're going to another spot. You know, Houston people. So let me get your number. I was being hesitant. I was like, okay, let me just give him my number. He immediately zelled me money. He's like, buy yourself dinner. Like he texted me, buy yourself dinner. And I was there at the bar. And you know, the evil on me, I went home. One thing, and I was like, let me pocket the rest. But I'm just giving the example, like, because I didn't come there to eat. I literally left eating before with my girlfriends and went there after. I'm like, let me go, you know, it's been a minute. Let me just be outside. So the point I'm trying to explain is that something like that, those are the type of behaviors that are common in somewhere like Houston or Atlanta because there's a high population of Nigerian men.
So Charlie, we're looking at you. Oh, you're thirsty. Oh, good night. Okay, bye.
Call me when you get home.
So I'm saying that if you're not used to that type of behavior and a guy does that for you, it's like a big deal. So I think that's also too. I think as Nigerian men complain about us and feel like non-Nigerian women treat them better. And I get it because if you're not used to certain things and you now meet a guy who's doing these things for you, you're gonna appreciate it more. That's just the truth, right? Like it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just the reality of human behavior. Like, you know, it's normal for us.
I wouldn't have to deal with Americanized African men. I wouldn't do FOB as an American woman. It's totally different culture when they are FOB. I can understand that. But what's true is men do not really go to Afrobeat spots the way the women do.
Yes, I want to hear that. I remember being on a post like on Instagram, and a lot of guys were complaining about Atlanta, all that African music they be playing, all that booty scratching music. Like it was like a thread. Everyone was going in. Like you're not gonna see a bunch of African American men at an Afrobeat spot unless like their friend invited them. They just don't frequent it like that. The way American girls be frequenting these spots.
Here you see them. Here you see a few of them. Even Nikki speaking pidgin. Justina said agree with the FOB. FOB men deaf more open-minded. Justina, you like FOB? Wow. Hey, hey y'all. Let me see. We're about to end real quick. Let y'all watch the presidential debate. Hey, why is it not showing? She said, hey y'all, I missed you the last video. Okay. Why do African men try to talk to African American women? Do they find this easier, gullible? I don't know. We should bring any African man want to join the live.
Let me share the link. always true. I think you have to remember too that a lot of these African men, or let's say they're FOB, or like they're not born here. Black American women are different for them. Like they didn't grow up with that option, right? So it's like that novelty, that newness. It's like a different experience, you know. Like, and then a lot of American women are like pretty, you know, like they're attractive. They're,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think they find them more attractive for sure. And I think that physically there's more American women. We're in America. So if you go out and you walk down the street, you go to the mall, you go to the bank, you go to the grocery store, who are you going to bump into? You go to the gym, you're going to meet African American women. Right? So that's the argument I make with all my friends. They're like, well, Nigerian guys don't like Nigerian girls. I'm like, no, that's not true. It's who they see. They're just not close-minded like us.
Right.
That's just simply what it is. But they're gonna go, and I also think some of them do purposely go for American women when they are not ready to settle down, when they want to just have not a bad fun, but they want more fun, because sometimes African girls can be very uptight and almost too marriage-minded. Yeah. So I think there's a bunch of reasons. And I think they do like to look more because African American women tend to have that mixed look. So you're gonna see lighter skin, wavy hair, colored eyes, and these are things that these men
colored eyes.
And these are things that these men themselves don't even realize that they are like. You know, it's just real. We're colorist. That's the truth. Like,
remember the comment I sent you about the guy that commented, I worked in New York with a bunch of Nigerian women, and no disrespect, I never found a Nigerian woman attractive. Like he was, and this is an African American guy. He was like, so even like we talk about all the time how we get asked, like, are you really Nigerian? Are you Nigerian? Oh my God, I think like I get the most common thing people say I am is African American. That's the most common thing. Oh, I just thought you were JB. That used to be the term back in the day, just black. African American. Oh, is one parent? Is it both parents? I'm like, wow, because I feel like they still that stereotype about like what an African looks like, what a Nigerian looks like. So it's like when they're saying I look African American, it's almost like saying like your features aren't that strong. Mm-hmm. Like you're not that dark. You have hair, you know, you're not bald, you know, like they have this stereotype, and it's crazy, even Nigerian guys.
Because they're also thinking of like African women who are FOBs too, like fresh off the boat. Right?
So I said it's more than looks. It's about the way you wear your hair. It's the way you talk. It's the way you dress. Like we're Americanized, so it's a bit different. You know what I mean? But like even Nigerian guys, like the most common thing I'm getting now is East African. You know, East African girls are cute, so it's a compliment for telling me I'm East African and they baddies. You know, but it's like wow, Nigerian guy told me I look Kenyan. I was like, wow, Kenyan, Ugandan, wow, like it's like everything. I've gotten so much. Oh my God, we were. Let's go through these comments and then I'll record.
I think it's 50-50. I would love to share my final African story. Had a very good time with one, but he closed the lid on African men. Mind you, he was Ghanaian, so that might be the issue. So come join the stream. Before
was he stingy? Then I go through all the comments.
African men talk to everyone. Although it's just y'all don't know their game. But African men would talk to Jewish, Korean, Muslim, and shit. But was talking about the guy that said the money. She said, "God bless him." In Atlanta too. And she said he had to run home to his wife. That's not a good example.
Yes, I got my money.
Coco said, "May the Lord cover that man." Hopefully he will have many children and teach them the same behavior. Hallelujah. Don't just be telling girls that they're beautiful. Do something. Come on, it's 2024. Oh, how tall are you? What are you gonna do if I tell you my height? Are you gonna do something? Are you gonna bless me? Like, let's change it.
Off the boat. So it's a term for like someone who's like just came, or like someone who's very Justina put the term. Aisha, we don't see you. You say you joined. I don't see you. Where are you? You're not in the studio. Where are you? We need to finish up with a banger. We need this story, Aisha. She said he was very aggressive. I don't see you. It's funny, while Aisha's trying to join, this is a funny question, Mia, because it wasn't until I went to college, like when American men really started trying to talk to me, and I was so shocked because I always had in my mind that like American men would only like American. It's very weird, but
you are American.
Like you know, I'm Nigerian American. Yeah, I'm American. Yeah, but I always had in my mind that they wouldn't be attracted to like a foreign, like someone who isn't. Nah, but they be Nah, they be on it, but I've never
Again,
dated
it's
an
about where you go, right? So if I go to
Mhm.
American spots, American guys will actually, I'll be thinking, once I try to tell someone, oh, American guys don't like tall girls. Shut up, stop lying. Like, I'll just make an excuse. No, it's,
Tell us a story about the Ghanaian
Hey
investor guy.
y'all. Hey
How are you? How's
twin.
Charlotte? You're in Charlotte now. You left Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I did. I'm here in Charlotte still.
How are you liking it?
Oh my god, I love it.
Good.
I love it. I love it. I'm so mad I missed the dating in Charlotte one because I had some key points. I was like, dang, I would have been good for that one.
It was just a cut. Oh, it was a cut from a previous our live like
Oh,
4 weeks ago.
okay.
Yeah, so we haven't been live like in a month. That's why I was like, let's just go live today. But yeah, it wasn't. It was just a cut up video, so you can watch it whenever you have time.
Okay, got it. But yeah, what I will say first before I start is I do notice that in Charlotte there's a very large, is it Ghanaian or is it Ghanaian?
Ghanaian. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a very large crew of them. We don't have a large crew like that back in Atlanta. So I guess like that's like their version of like Nigerian men out here in Charlotte. Because
Really?
we don't have a
Heard that?
large Ghana crew in Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't feel like we have a lot of Nigerians here. Maybe we have them by the numbers. But I say it all the time. I don't think it's like a lot of Nigerian, or like at least a lot that you see out like that go out or come out. It's not a lot in Charlotte.
No. But the guy that I went out with and I had to block him for safety reasons. I just feel like kind of like what I was saying is I feel like a lot of the men have caught on to, oh, they like us, so let's try to get them out of it. And I don't judge people anymore. I feel like what your goal is when it comes to men is your goal. Like if you're somebody that wants to have sex for food, then hey, do it, right? Or if you want to, I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to have sex for a drink or for a section, because what's happening is a lot of these African men now are expecting that. Like if they're taking you out to eat, it's like, okay, so what happens now after I took you out to eat at STK or
What did I say?
they're starting to do that now, and it's becoming very, very like aggressive, scary. One thing African men do a lot, and I guess it just depends on you. Is being touchy, like a lot of girls don't like to be touched on, like not for a first date or second date. Maybe like once you're my man or like we're at that final stage of dating, but don't hug me or try to kiss me on my cheek or my lips or come here, baby, come like. No, like we just, like we just going out for steak. We not call me and my wife. Like, what's your social security number? First of all, like, what is that before we go any further? Like, so
Was this guy older? Was he like uncle age kind of?
I would say he was around 40.
Oh, that's not old.
Yeah, no, he wasn't old, but I just feel like he probably just caught on to the African men trend. So I guess for him it's like, okay, if I'm gonna put out money, what is she gonna put out to get this back? Like,
there's no free lunch.
Yeah, basically, and it was very, very awkward. Very awkward. I'm thankful that I carry. But yeah, it was given like you finna give it to me, or else it's gonna be an issue.
What?
And it was give like I said, they're becoming very aggressive.
This was after the first date, or were y'all dating? Y'all went on a few dates?
A first date. This was a first date. And then I'm gonna tell you this next story. Now, this one is gonna be the one that kind of made me say, "Yeah, I'm good." I went, and this is when I first moved to Charlotte. And I think right after our video about Safari, and I had met this girl, and she was saying that she had some friends and that they had a party at Safari and that I was invited. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm excited. It's Safari. Woo! We get there, the club's empty. So I'm like, well, girl, let's have fun. You know what I'm saying? Afrobeat, you know what I'm saying? Drinks, cool. So she was like, nah. Her friends were African men, not female friends. I'm like, okay. And she was like, they had a section at section. So I guess they came to Safari and saw that it was dead. So they were like, nah, let's get our money back and just go to sections.
What day of the week was this? A Friday or Saturday?
Oh, good question. I think a Friday.
Okay. And you didn't invite me to come Afrobeat?
When I tell you the story, no, when I tell you the story,
Okay,
you'll understand why I didn't invite you, girl. When I tell you, but also add me to on IG. But
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why, girl. So I'm gonna give it to you fast so that you can go off the YouTube. All right, so we had a section. First red flag, and this is different from African men ATL. Is it was raining, and in Atlanta, the African men will come outside of the club and greet you and bring you inside. We had to walk into the club by ourselves. Like I said,
Charlotte is different. It's not. It's different, but keep going. Keep going.
I'm like, okay, red flag number one. Okay, so we get in there. They had a section. Now, okay, so as you know, in a section, right, it comes with like 2 bottles and hookah. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
They had the hookah and no drinks. They were sitting there for about 10-15 minutes. Section is a very small club, so you're sitting by other sections. Every section is getting served, but my homegirl's African guy. So me being from Atlanta, this is telling me either he don't tip well or he caused problems at the club, and they don't like
He got
him.
a bad reputation. I used to DM me his name.
Okay, I mean. So I was like, either he don't tip well, or he got an attitude because they're passing him by, and it was his birthday. So I was like, nah, they don't like him. But I couldn't say nothing. So it's to the point where I want to drink. So I'm like, hey sis, I'm gonna go up to the bar and go get a margarita. You want one? So he's like, where is she going? Where is she going? So my friend's like, so my friend is like, hey, my friend want to know where you going. I said, I'm going to the bar, girl. We was in here for a half an hour with no drinks. Like, girl, I'm gonna go get some drinks. No, I got the drinks for us. I'm like, but they're not here, and everybody's getting served but us. So he's like, please sit down. This is embarrassing him. He's like, this is embarrassing. Women going to the bar. This is crazy. This is nonsense. I'm just like, okay, that's cool, but I'm thirsty and I want to drink. She was like, girl, just sit down for this man acting fool. So I was like, girl, first time and last time, but okay, like first time with you and last time with you. But you know what? I'll be polite because this little, boo thing, cool. They still ignoring him, girls. They still passing him by to the point where I had to get a girl. So I'm like, ma'am, come here. And so I'm telling the African boy, speak, let her know what's going on. He like, what? I said, mother effer. He's like, oh yeah, my bottles. He was looking so embarrassed. Like he did not. I was just like, he was looking like he was so embarrassed. And I was like, I don't care. I'm thirsty. She came and got the bottles. All right, now I'm wrapping up. Right. So we're drinking. We having a good time. I'm ready to go. Like I'm just like, I'm done. I had my fun. I'm about to go to sleep, go home. So my homegirl's like, hey, girl code, which is true that if we came together, we leave together. Totally understand that. However, because she's with African men, I'm like, you know what? Because you're with African men and not Black American men, I feel okay with you staying here. Like that's fine. Like I know African men, they're not gonna bother you that bad. So it's just, just chill with them. So I was like, but I'm going home, girl. Like I'm not staying no more. I'm going home. She's like, no. I said, girl, I'm going home. The African man's like, oh, where is she going? I said, I'm going home. So I guess they were arguing about me, and all I see him do is like a shoe fly to me, like a shoe fly.
Like this? Like
yeah. So I said, okay. You know what? I said, I'm new here. I ain't got no bail money yet. So let me just walk on out. Like, let me just walk off. So she followed me like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's not a problem. This just isn't my kind of crew no more. I am in my 30s. I'm not in my 20s no more. This is just not my kind of crew. I said it wasn't a bad night, but it wasn't a good one either. Like, like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. But I learned why I'm done with the African community. Like it's just And it's a very aggressive community. They're very blunt. They're very straightforward. They're very aggressive. And so she's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, girl, it's cool. I'll see you at, for coffee, but clubs, no. But yeah, I was done.
How many?
So why was he showing
guys
you?
was it?
Huh?
How many girls and how many guys?
Girl, me and her was the only damn girls.
Oh, and how many guys?
About 5, 6.
So they were showing you because they wanted you to come back with them?
Huh?
And were they showing? So why did he show you? It was because he was annoyed that you wanted to.
Because this is why. Because I've been in their shoes before when I was with the African men too, and I always had that weird black friend that didn't deal with it. Basically, he was saying like let her go, like F her, let her go.
And was your friend African?
No, she was Jamaican.
Okay. Yo, that's hilarious.
So I was like, I think I'm done. I was like, well, I tried. So
it's because you didn't invite me. If you invited me, the ratio would have been 3 to 6. So it wouldn't have been so odd.
It wasn't that. It was just, I think I'm just kind of like what y'all was saying earlier, is that I think y'all are immune to just, and I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just a different type. Like I said,
what Justina said, African American women are definitely more aggressive. Yes, and like I feel like y'all are more empowered, and like you guys know, like I don't know, it's like almost like I'll never forget this one guy as he made a comment. I'll never forget I was with some guy I was dating, and like these 2 American girls had walked in, really cute. They had like some bomb bodies. I don't know if it was natural, but their bodies looked good. And I was looking at it, he was looking at it, and he was in a group with all his little Nigerian friends. And he had made a comment. He was like, "Those type of women will F you up." That was just like literally the comment. The girls but I guess from just the way they were moving and behaving, and they even rode up, and then these African guys came and met them. Like, I feel like the difference with a lot of American women is like they don't have that time. Like they're not on that time. No. They're not on that. You're not about to shut them up. You're not about to have like no.
Exactly. That, and for me, I'm not a big fan of men just grabbing on me. Like I don't like that. So now that I know better, now that I'm older and I'm healing from past trauma, that for me is like a non-negotiable. Like, do not touch on my thigh. Like, no. Like, so they're doing it because they're used to doing it, but for me, I don't like it. And then for them, it's like, whoa, like, what's the issue? Like, I'm and I'm like, this is not what I do. I don't do the touching, the grabbing. I'm not kissing you for no steak. I promise you, I will cash app you the money back for the steak, bro. If it's that bad for a kiss, like I'll block you. I will block you, like for real, like I will block you. I will block you.
Yo, the STK one, Nnena, get his name too, the STK one, because remember I was in Charlotte, the guy, STK.
So listen, I'm gonna just be fair, right? Because just quickly before we close, you talked about the date situation and how you feel like the guy had like all these expectations, and I do think that's a part of dating. Since we're talking about dangers of dating down, right? I think this is a part of dating in general that people don't like to talk about, that a lot of times there's a lot of expectations. So I know so many beautiful women who just don't even bother. Like, okay, I don't even want to go out with these guys. I don't even want to, because at the end of the day, I know what's coming next. Right. I know what's coming next. Okay, after the first day, it's like, oh, come to my place. Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to just hang out. Oh, like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't
like going out. I'm afraid of crowds. I don't know how to eat in public. I don't know how to do it's always something.
Yeah. So it's like you don't want to feel like, and it shouldn't be like that. But you don't want to feel like now, oh, you took me out. Now I owe you. Now I owe you something because I went on one date. So I was like, okay, keep your date. Let's just talk on the phone and let me see if I even care about you.
I don't know why she gonna wear makeup and meet up with no one. Like, it's just, honestly, I'm tired. I'm sleepy. Like, you wasted my time at this point. Like, especially if you're gonna be expecting something over a date, like food I can buy myself. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But no, thank you so much for joining me. That was a funny way to end. And all of them are not like that. Give mine a chance. Maybe the Americanized ones, because you're talking about like the real ones. Maybe the Americanized ones you'll have better experiences with. But some of them,
Y'all
yeah,
can
they be
add
doing.
me on Instagram before y'all close. It's Aisha Muhammad 91.
Okay.
It should say
All
Black
right.
Muslim Barbie with like a black Barbie doll with some shades on it. That's me.
Wait, it's all. This is all one word that you're talking about.
Oh, so you know what? I just lied. My that's my old IG name. It's
Mhm.
Black Muslim Barbie.
Let me see it, please. Black.
And it's all one word, Black Muslim Barbie.
Okay. All right. News. Okay. All right. Well, thank you much for joining. It was nice catching up with you.
All
Hopefully,
right,
we'll get to
y'all.
go
See y'all
live
next time.
soon more often. All right. Take care. Stay away from those clubs.
They said AA women are very straightforward due to the men we have been around our whole lives. A lot of AA men don't respect nice women. They try to get over. So you feel like that kind of forces you to be aggressive. I can see that. Dre, you ever see nothing but attitude? Miami Chica Pookie don't. Okay, I don't know what Dre's talking about. He tight. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining. We just wanted to go live. We'll see if we can go live next Tuesday. We'll have a different topic, but we just wanted to get back on and get back into rhythm of things. I can't believe it's been 4 weeks. I thought it was 3 weeks or 2 weeks. 4 weeks. That's crazy.
Let's talk
But
about
yeah,
the topic now. So we'll hold it next Tuesday. Are we talking about Houston?
Yeah, I could talk about how Houston is changing, and I really feel a difference. Like being here, like just 2.5 years this month, and like I really feel the difference. So yeah, we could talk about that, how Houston's changing, and whether I'm staying, because soon I'll hit my 3-year mark, and I have to lease everything. Oh, adulting is not easy, but yeah,
we talk about these HIV statistics I keep hearing about in Houston. Have you been hearing about a lot about that?
Yeah, everyone be sending them to me. Like it's scary. I feel like that's the issue in any major city, Atlanta, Houston, all them. Y'all, everyone just be careful. It's not worth it. Close the legs. It's not worth it because it's some crazy stuff out there. But thank you all so much for joining. We'll let y'all get to the presidential debate. Hey Anna, yeah, you late. Yeah, watch the replay. We just had a great discussion. We'll see you all next week, if not the week after, but we always try and post it at least like 24
No,
hours.
next week. Next
So
week.
we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.